Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. There's a difference between attraction and deep love. Attraction can be sparked by looks, status, or surface charm. But love, the kind that makes a woman emotionally invested, loyal, and captivated, comes from something deeper. And here's the truth: most men have no idea what those something deeper acts actually are. They think love is just luck or timing, but in reality, it's about how you move, how you speak, how you carry yourself, and how you make her feel, especially in the silent, unspoken moments. The 7 acts we're about to dive into are not tricks or tactics. They're deeply rooted behaviors that awaken feminine love and desire on a level that's almost spiritual. They are acts of emotional leadership, masculine strength, and psychological depth. When practiced with intention, these acts don't just attract women, they change how women see you. There's an old quote from the Roman philosopher Seneca: "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." And in dating, many men suffer unnecessarily. They chase, they beg, they try to please, instead of standing firm in who they are and becoming the kind of man a woman naturally yearns for. This video will help you stop chasing and start attracting through presence, purpose, and subtle power. These 7 acts don't manipulate her, they move her. And by the end, you'll understand why she begins to chase you. Before we begin, if you find value in content that sharpens your mind, strengthens your masculinity, and reveals what truly attracts the feminine heart, then take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe, share this with a brother who needs to hear it, and of course, drop a comment with your thoughts. Now let's begin with the first act that makes a woman fall madly in love with you. Chapter 1. The Power of Unshakable Presence. In a world where distractions are endless and most men are mentally scattered, the rarest and most magnetic trait a man can embody is presence. Real presence. The kind that feels like the room slows down when you enter it. The kind that makes her feel like nothing else matters when you're looking into her eyes. Presence is not just about being physically there. It's about being fully there, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. Most men don't realize that women can feel when a man is fragmented, when his mind is bouncing between social media, stress, and insecurity. Even if he's smiling, she can feel the disconnection. And that disconnection kills attraction. But when you train yourself to be grounded, when your energy says, "I'm not in a hurry, I'm not proving anything, and I'm fully tuned into this moment," you become unforgettable. You create a sense of safety and intensity that most women never experience. She begins to crave your energy, not just your body. Wherever you are, be all there. Jim Elliot. This simple quote holds ancient wisdom. The Stoics believed in the power of the now. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." Why? Because in the present, the mind is clear, the spirit is calm, and the soul is alert. And that calm alertness is masculine energy at its highest level. Let's take a practical example. Imagine a man on a date who's constantly checking his phone, glancing around, or overthinking his next words. Even if he's dressed well and talking smoothly, he's communicating one thing: "I'm not fully here." Compare that to a man who maintains eye contact, listens deeply, and pauses before he speaks, not because he's nervous, but because he's thinking. His stillness is felt, his presence is intoxicating. This man isn't seeking attention, his attention is the gift, and that gift makes her feel seen, heard, and emotionally opened. Here's something powerful: a woman's attraction to you is often tied to how she feels about herself when she's around you. And when you are fully present, you elevate her. You reflect her value back to her without saying a word. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be serious or stoic 24/7. Presence can also show up in playful moments. It's in the way you tease her with intention, the way you notice little things about her that no one else does, the way you're so absorbed in the moment that you forget the rest of the world exists. Presence is also powerful in conflict. A present man doesn't panic when emotions run high. He listens, he breathes, he holds space. And in doing so, he leads her out of her storm without trying to fix her. That kind of emotional leadership is rare and irresistible. If you want to develop this trait, start by cutting out mindless distractions. Practice meditation or breath work. Spend time alone in silence. Speak less and listen more. When she talks, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Actually hear her. Not to fix, but to understand. When you make presence your daily practice, you naturally stand out from 95% of men. You're no longer trying to impress. You become the one who impresses without trying. In ancient samurai tradition, the most feared warriors were calm in the face of death. Their presence came from deep inner stillness. You don't need a sword to become one of those men. Your presence is your sword, and when wielded wisely, it cuts through the noise of the world and pierces straight into her heart. Drop a comment if you've ever felt the difference between a man who's truly present and one who's just physically there. Chapter 2. The Act of Silent Leadership. A woman may be attracted to charm, but she falls in love with leadership. Not the loud, controlling kind, but the silent kind. The calm, quiet force of a man who leads through action, clarity, and unshakable inner direction. Here's what most men get wrong. They think leadership means domination, telling her what to do, making decisions for her, acting like a boss. That's not masculine leadership. That's insecurity disguised as control. A true leader doesn't need to prove his power, he simply embodies it. A lion does not turn around when a small dog barks. African proverb. Leadership starts with leading yourself. Your routines, your standards, your direction in life. A man who leads his own life doesn't chase women. He moves with purpose, and women naturally want to follow. She feels emotionally safe because he's not reactive, he's decisive. He knows who he is and where he's going. Let's look at a real-life example. Two men are dating the same woman. One keeps asking what she wants to do, where she wants to go, how she wants to feel. He thinks he's being polite and respectful. But over time, she feels annoyed. Not because he's a bad guy, but because he's placing the emotional responsibility on her. He's making her lead. The second man makes suggestions, sets plans, and stays open to feedback, but he initiates. He doesn't wait for her to move. He moves and invites her into his world. She doesn't have to figure things out. He already has a structure. And inside that structure, she can relax. She can feel feminine. She can fall in love. That's what silent leadership does. It relieves her of masculine pressure and gives her emotional space to soften. You don't have to lead with your mouth. You can lead with your presence, your choices, and your consistency. You become the foundation, the anchor in the emotional storm, the man who doesn't fold when tested, who doesn't crumble under emotion, who stays grounded even when she's spiraling. In ancient Rome, generals didn't lead from the back, they led from the front. They showed bravery not by giving orders, but by stepping into the fire first. Women are biologically wired to respond to this energy. It tells them, he can handle me, he can handle life, he won't break. Modern leadership also shows up in smaller ways. How you handle conflict, how you respond to her moods, how you keep your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you set a boundary, hold it. If you make a mistake, own it. These are not grand gestures, but they communicate everything about your character. A man who can lead calmly and silently has something women can't resist: direction. And direction is the backbone of masculine energy. It doesn't mean you never consult her. It means you don't collapse when things get uncertain. You can adapt without losing yourself. A woman falls in love when she sees that you're not just physically strong, but emotionally unshakable. That no matter how intense her emotions get, you won't flee, react, or become passive. You'll lead her through it. That's what she dreams of. That's what she prays for. Not a perfect man, but a stable one. If you're unsure where to begin, start with your own life. Are you leading your own habits? Your health? Your finances? Your mission? If not, how can she trust you to lead her? Leadership is not a crown you wear. It's a weight you carry with quiet strength. And when you carry it well, she'll follow you, not because you demand it, but because she trusts it. Drop a comment if you believe leadership starts within before it ever shows up in a relationship. Chapter 3. Emotional availability without emotional weakness. One of the biggest misconceptions men have is that they must either be emotionally closed off to remain strong or become overly emotional to be in touch with their feelings. Both extremes push women away. What draws a woman in, deeply, madly, is a man who is emotionally available but never emotionally weak. Let's break that down. Emotional availability means you are in tune with your emotions. You can name them, process them, and express them with maturity. You're not a robot. You don't pretend nothing affects you, but, and this is key, you don't collapse under your feelings. You don't bleed all over her when you're cut. You handle your internal storms with courage and responsibility. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. Confucius. True strength is the man who can feel deeply without becoming a slave to his emotions. He doesn't use her as his therapist. He doesn't fall apart every time life gets hard. But when she asks how he's doing, he doesn't lie either. He's honest, grounded, and real. Let's say you're going through a financial setback. The weak emotional response is to hide it, become bitter, or take it out on her. The overly vulnerable response is to dump all your stress on her every day. But the emotionally available, grounded man says, "Things are tight right now. I'm adjusting and staying focused. I've got a plan." That's real. That's masculine. That builds trust. Here's what most men forget. A woman doesn't need you to be invincible. She needs to feel that you're not afraid of your own emotions, or hers. That you can sit with pain without needing to escape. That you can face fear without running. That you can hear her emotions without becoming defensive or shutting down. This makes you a fortress with a heart. You create a space where she feels safe being fully herself because you're fully yourself. She doesn't have to guess how you feel. She doesn't have to pull things out of you. But she also doesn't feel burdened by your instability. You show her that masculinity isn't cold, it's steady. And that kind of steadiness makes her fall in love in a way that's hard to describe but impossible to forget. In ancient wisdom, the Tao Te Ching says, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." Emotional availability is the art of knowing yourself so well that nothing inside you is hidden in shame. And when you remove shame, you remove the fear of vulnerability. That's when she sees the whole man, not just the one who protects her, but the one who understands her. And in that understanding, she finds the emotional safety that leads to devotion. There's also the matter of timing. Being emotionally available doesn't mean always being deep or heavy. Sometimes it's as simple as asking her how she really feels and listening without judgment. Other times, it's sharing a part of your past that shaped you, not to gain sympathy, but to build connection. One of the most powerful things you can say to a woman is, "I've been through pain too, but I didn't let it define me." That one sentence can create a level of emotional resonance that no amount of flirting ever will. It says you're not afraid of intimacy, not just physical, but emotional. And once she feels that emotional bond, her love deepens beyond logic. She begins to see herself in your story, and that makes her loyal in a way no games ever could. A woman falls in love with the man who can stand firm in his pain, hold space for her in hers, and rise together with clarity and purpose. Be that man, and she'll never forget you. Drop a comment if you've ever seen the difference between emotional strength and emotional weakness in a relationship. Chapter 4. Living with mission and mystery. There's one trait that women can't fully explain, but they feel it in their bones, and it drives them wild. It's a man who lives with mission and carries just enough mystery. Let's start with mission. When a man is anchored in a clear purpose, he becomes magnetic. His life isn't built around women, it's built around vision. His time is sacred, his energy is focused, He doesn't drift. He doesn't wait to be inspired. He disciplines himself to move forward, whether he feels like it or not. And that consistency gives his life weight. A woman doesn't just respect this, she's attracted to it. Why? Because deep down, every woman wants to be part of something bigger than herself. And when a man is living with real purpose, he offers that higher ground. She doesn't just fall in love with him, she falls in love with the direction he's going. She wants to walk beside him, not lead him or drag him. When a man does not know what harbor he is making for, no wind is the right wind. Seneca. Without a mission, a man becomes restless. He over-invests in romance. He needs constant reassurance. He tries to fill his emptiness with her validation. That kind of energy repels women, but the man with a mission, he doesn't need her to complete him. He's whole already. And that wholeness creates space for authentic connection. Now let's talk about mystery. Mystery isn't about playing games or hiding things. It's about maintaining a sense of depth, a part of you that even she doesn't fully understand. It's letting her see your heart without exposing every corner of your soul right away. It's in your calm silences, your unpredictable layers, your ability to surprise her, not with gifts, but with depth. Think of it like this: the sun gives warmth, but it's the stars in the night sky that make us dream. A man with mystery gives a woman something to wonder about. And wonder is the seed of obsession. When she can't fully figure you out, but she feels safe with you, she falls, and she falls hard. Imagine a man who's constantly texting, calling, explaining everything, updating her on every feeling, every plan. At first, she feels flattered, but soon she starts to feel bored. Why? Because he's predictable. He has no edge. Now imagine a man who's warm, attentive, but also grounded in something beyond the relationship. He disappears for a few hours to work on his passion. He's emotionally available, but he keeps evolving. That man? He's addictive. In ancient mythology, heroes were always on a quest. Women didn't fall in love with them because they stayed home and adored them. They fell in love while watching them pursue destiny. A woman doesn't want to be your everything. She wants to be beside you while you pursue everything that matters. Mystery also requires you to protect your energy. Don't overshare out of insecurity. Don't dump every emotion for validation. Don't be too available. Let her miss you. Let her wonder what you're thinking. When you balance that with emotional depth and presence, you become the most powerful version of yourself, the centered, grounded, growing man. So ask yourself, are you living with direction? Are you building something that gives your life weight? Are you maintaining the kind of inner world that keeps her curious? When you live with mission and mystery, you become unforgettable. And not because you're trying to impress, but because you're expressing who you really are. The man with purpose, the man with depth, the man she dreams about long after the room goes quiet. Drop a comment if you believe mystery and mission are what truly make a man unforgettable. Welcome back, tribe. You've just walked through 7 timeless acts that don't just impress a woman, they move her soul. These aren't tricks, they're not games, they're principles rooted in truth, maturity, and the sacred strength of masculine energy. A woman may be drawn to looks, status, or charm, but she falls madly in love with the man who leads with silent strength, who protects with calm clarity, who listens with emotional intelligence, and who lives with mission, mystery, and meaning. She falls for the man who doesn't chase her, but calls her higher, the man who doesn't try to own her, but inspires her to offer herself, freely, completely, fully. If you internalize these 7 acts, you won't just attract women, you'll attract the right woman, the kind who doesn't want to compete with your strength, but contribute to your legacy. Remember this, brothers, you don't need to be the loudest in the room to be the most powerful. You only need to be the most centered. So stand tall, speak less, move with purpose, let your life speak louder than your words, and watch what happens, not just in your love life, but in every area of your manhood. Welcome again to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where ancient wisdom and modern mastery unite. If this video lit a fire in you, like it, share it, subscribe for more powerful guidance, and drop a comment below. Which of these 7 acts hit you the hardest and why? We'll see you in the next one. Stay stoic, stay golden.